Good evening, everybody. I have stopped speaking from behind the podium. And the reason for this is that this is the only way I can acknowledge your love, your courtesy, and your kindness. We are paying tribute to Brie, and I want to congratulate her and tell her how her work has impacted us and the entire America. We are witness to the goodness of Brie's work. I have traveled to about 20 communities and many more to go. Wherever there is interfaith action, interfaith relation, stronger the relation, the less division and less hatred. We have become a testament to the work that Brie does and other community leaders that are sitting among us today do. At our home, we have 2 tables full of cards from throughout the country. We have a stack of Bibles that have been sent to us with pages turned, scripture highlighted for us to read so that we will have the protection, so we will have the courage, and we will have the blessings. And then there sit not 1, not 2, not 3, 6 mezuzahs from our Jewish friends, telling us what to do with them, how we will be protected from the harm. There is, everybody knows we are Muslim, there is a stack of Qurans that have been sent to us, sections of prayers that have been sent to us. It only strengthens our belief in the goodness of America, in the values of pluralism that this America is known for. So we are grateful. I stand before you so humbled to be able to be part of the award that is being presented to Brie for her good work. And she's hope for tomorrow. We have already started the conversation. How would we heal after this election is over? There is division, there is hatred that has been created by a candidate. And the only solution to that we find is the kind of work that Brie does, which is the interfaith work, extending the hand of reconciliation, forgiveness, and moving forward. So as soon as this election is over, I'm sure the leadership sits here, your work will begin. You will take us through this difficult period. You will make America whole again. You will make America plural again. You will remove this hatred and this dislike. So, Brie, congratulations for your good work. May you have many more successes and continued success. So thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here and to be back in DC. As a board member of the El-Hibri Foundation, I am delighted to present this year's Fearless Ally Award. This inaugural award celebrates partners who are promoting greater understanding and respect between communities, those who are challenging Islamophobia, and those who are supporting inclusion, collaboration, and capacity building with American Muslim communities. This year's honoree is Brie Loskota. I have had the great privilege of knowing Brie and working with her for over a decade. As the executive director of the University of Southern California Center for Religion and Civic Culture, Brie is researching and building capacity among faith-based organizations and their leaders here in the US and around the world. She believes that faith-based communities play a unique role in building a dynamic, healthy, and resilient America. She works to not only build capacity within these communities, but she actively connects faith-based communities to federal, state, and county and city governments to ensure that they are on the front lines of responding to the community and the country's needs. As a result, many faith-based communities in America like to claim Brie as their own, and we are no different. But we think we hold a more special place, a little bit. And that is because back in 2006, Brie co-founded the American Muslim Civic Leadership Institute, AMICLI, which is housed at the Center for Religion and Civic Culture. AMICLI was built in response to a clear need, the need for emerging American Muslim civic leaders, the Muslims who are pioneering and leading nonprofit organizations and those in public office, the people that Farhan was talking about before, to receive the necessary training, mentors, networks, and capacity to adequately address the challenges they are facing. To date, AMICLI has trained over 220 American Muslim community leaders from across America and another 100 civic leaders from the Middle East and Africa through AMICLI's partnership with the U.S. Institute of Peace. Brie, I want to convey my gratitude for your service and dedication to the American Muslim community, for the sacrifices you have made to advance the community and each of its leaders. Over a decade ago, you had the courage to step up when it felt like almost nobody outside of the Muslim community was willing to do so. You did so out of your loyalty to your Muslim friends, to people like me, and you did so out of your unrelenting belief in a better America. Even when you did not have all the financial resources to run the program, you made sure AMICLI was running and operating at the highest standard, based in large part on sacrifices that you made continually. By investing your own time and energy, you are continually advancing AMICLI, designing the program and conducting trainings. It meant a lot of time away from your family, away from your husband and your amazing kids. And to them, we're also very grateful. And your contribution today with the award is just another indication of you gifting that back to AMICLI's programming. And it has not always been easy. When you're helping a community simultaneously heal, connect, and grow, it can be messy. And American Muslims definitely is no exception. As most of you in this room know very well, you've sat with us in all of that messiness. You've not only helped us envision a different future, but you have helped us build that future hand in hand. And now, I actually want to ask all the AMICLI alumni to stand. Wow. Stay standing for 1 second. It's these leaders, and I want to collectively, on behalf of them, and Brie, now I want you to envision the rest of the 220, along with their communities that they're serving, and thank you on behalf of them, on their work, and to you. You have served as a teacher, a coach, a mentor, and a friend to each member of this network, including myself. And for that, I want to speak from all of those who have been empowered by their respective work. We want to thank you. So thank you. Let's go sit. Thank you, guys. So along with Farhan Latif and Nancy El-Hibri, it is my great pleasure to present the Fearless Ally Award to Brie Loskota.
Thank you. My goodness. If anyone knows a good eye makeup brand that's waterproof, I could use one, asking for a friend. Farhan asked me to introduce myself, and I have a standard way of doing that because I have been told that I am confusing to people. No one understands who I am from my name, so I think I connect to Muslims that way. In fact, since Dean talked about being in the airport, I was once actually in the airport and I saw an imam that I had worked with. And so I said, "Imam," and he turned around and he went, "Salam alaikum," when he saw me. So I am used to confusing people. We cleared it up, he remembered me. So this is the way I introduce myself. I was born in the Philippines, obviously. I was raised as a Pentecostal. I attended an evangelical high school. I studied religion in college. I was the only non-Jew at a Jewish seminary. I wrote my master's thesis on Jewish-Muslim relations. So when I showed up, the Muslims thought I was a Jew, and the Jews thought I was the caterer. Yeah. No one ever thinks I'm Muslim. Everyone goes, "Oh, Muslim." No one thinks I'm Muslim. I'm not. I co-founded a Muslim Leadership Institute. I do a lot of work in the Black church, and I spend actually a good portion of my time working with Catholic nuns. So I spend the majority of my time being confusing to people. My parents spent the majority of the 1970s living overseas. And they did it for many of the reasons that people leave their homes, to look for economic opportunity and upward mobility. And my mom would always say that the reason that they managed their time overseas was because of the kindness of strangers. And so it was our obligation to be kind to strangers because we had been strangers in a strange land. And so I think that that's why I do the work that I do. So it wasn't surprising to me one day that an AMCLI fellow named Sarah called me, and she said, "I'm having trouble with this concept of being an ally." And I guess that was a natural thing to ask me, but I didn't answer her question with best practices or anything. I just said, "Come over, my house, Friday." So she came over. She brought desserts that she had bought at Juma that day, and I ordered pizza. My kids played in our living room, and we sat on my well-worn couches, and in the chaos of everything around us, we talked about her work as an organizer. She was struggling with this concept of what it meant to be an ally to people who were different than her. She wears hijab, she's South Asian, and she was organizing around economic and racial justice, mass incarceration issues in a predominantly African-American community, mostly inner city. So as she talked about this, she talked about a guy named Joe, who was a leader of great potential. And she really thought that Joe had something, and she was building a relationship with him. The next time after their first meeting, she saw Joe, I said, "Sarah, how is it going for you? What's it like for you to do this work? What can I do to support you?" And Sarah was puzzled by this response. She was supposed to be his ally, and yet he cared about what was going on for her. He was so concerned about how he could help support her. And she thought, that's not this ally dynamic that I'm supposed to be in. So as she explained what was a really puzzling situation to her, I really got some clarity about my version of what it means to be an ally. So I said, this whole ally thing, I'm not sure I do it. I'm not sure I know what it means. I'm not sure any of it. And she was really taken aback. After all, she had come over to get an answer on precisely this question, and I wasn't offering it. And what I realized was that ally is not a word I have used to describe myself, despite people labeling me that way. It's always felt a little like an itchy, ill-fitting wool sweater. Allyship itself has been subject to many critiques, some of them really well-earned criticisms, especially when allies wear their status as a shiny badge of honor, or where they abuse the status, or they use it for personal gain, or they exploit the communities they're in relationship with. So what I have done, and what I'm proud of, and what you see reflected in these wonderful people who stood up just a minute ago, is I have built my life around a series of relationships with people that I love. Not with broad political categories and not with, abstract social analysis. And it's because I love them that I feel accountable to them. I feel to act with integrity, I have to act with them and build with them together. And so over time, their pain and their triumphs move me more deeply, move me to act more. Their experiences don't become mine and mine don't become theirs. But this gap implied by a binary of us and them gets blurred, gets closed. So today with this honor, I believe the El-Hibri Foundation is recognizing this version of what it means to be an ally, to be in relationship, so that itchy sweater feels a little less uncomfortable. This award represents the recognition that to be an ally is to be embedded in a series of relationships that close the gaps of differences, that blur the lines between you and I, and your community and my community, without diminishing the significance of those differences that define us. It also requires stepping into the fear of the unknown. It's funny also that this award describes me as being fearless. I am anything but. I am afraid of two things: flying on airplanes and speaking in public. Everybody laughs, it's true though. I have flown 85,000 miles this year. I have probably given 100 talks. it's not because I'm fearless. It's because I refuse to be paralyzed by fear. I refuse to let my life be defined by a series of missed opportunities and unrealized potential. And so I am not at all fearless. I am just unparalyzed. And I think that that's something that we can all be. So it's in realizing our own potential, in seeing the ability of ourselves, of those around us, especially those who have been discarded, that we can build and transform our communities into beautiful and resilient ones. That's what AMCLI has allowed me to be a part of. I say AMCLI, Nadia says AMCLI. You can tell we have some regional differences. It's about unlocking this abundance. This is an incredibly beautiful, talented, phenomenally joy-filled community. And we often forget that because of the weight of the challenges that it faces. But AMCLI has allowed me to find my people. And I'd like to thank you all for being my people and for letting me be yours. I believe that that's what Joe was asking Sarah to do. He wanted to be treated like a full, whole human being in a reciprocal relationship with someone else. He wanted a sense of agency. He wanted to be useful. He wanted to meet somebody who might not be like him in so many ways, and yet uncover the ways in which he and she were powerfully and interconnectedly one. He didn't want to be a political category. He didn't want to be a construct. He didn't want to be someone's project. He wanted to build a relationship and invite her to become his people. So I don't know how to be an ally in the way that you're talking about it, I had told Sarah. But I know if you show up, if you listen, if you remember the things that people talk about, if you care about people, if you are vulnerable and humble enough to let them care about you as well, if you don't see them as being deficient, and you don't see yourself as being superior, you see them as an end in and of themselves, then it won't matter the words you use to describe your work, because you will have done the one thing that the human soul yearns for, and that is to transcend the narrowness of your own self and be in relationship with someone else. So that, to me, is what it means to be an ally, and that's what I hope all of us can do. To face our fears, to not be prisoners of paralysis, to step into relationships that challenge us, and to unlock the abundance that surrounds us, so we can build on the legacies that we have inherited, and we can build a world worth leaving to those who come after us. Thank you.